Welcome to today's collective reading. This is Trinity Gaia Oracle. I'm going to open with some sound resonance. So if your ears are a little sensitive to the sound, feel free to kind of skip ahead a little bit, about 10 seconds or so. Okay. The first sound that I use is in the note of G, and what's really interesting to me that I've noticed is that it doesn't really record very well on my mic, and that may be different depending on the mic and the setting, but for me, that is inviting the divine to elevate, to pull that energy up to divine, like the most powerful love you could possibly comprehend, and know it's even beyond that level. And it's not necessarily being picked up by the microphone. Meaning, even like the voice of God can't be recorded. Like there's something along those lines. Like, no matter how much we may try to capture divinity and measure it, yeah, it's divine. It's beyond us. So it's just interesting to have that synchronicity right there, consistent and replicable, almost scientific in ways. Let's just say, because I used to work with a scientist, and he said that any true scientist will tell you that there's so much we don't know, but we don't talk like that with the public, because the public needs to feel safe, like we know things. But we barely have scratched the surface of understanding the world that we exist in, the universe, the laws. There's so much we don't know. And the arrogance of assuming that we do is meant to just kind of help people cope and feel like they have control. But the truth is far different. So as you can tell, there's a bit of a different tone to the end this morning. This is earlier than I typically will be doing a reading, but when the messages come through, they come through. So what do we need to know here to open this reading? What would you like us to highlight particularly in this energy? It's very clear that there's been a download received, that there's been some major shifts going on in the collective here. Some illumination and some healing, for sure. Ooh, that one did a dance. Oh, we have dancing angelic battle here. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, guys. There's a lot going on. We have some very confused individuals. They may be brave, but they can't necessarily see what's right in front of their face. It's like we're all, depending on where you are in this collective and on your path, there's tests before you, and everything could be a trap. Everything could be a test. Everything can be a trial, a measure. And some of it's designed to help you set yourself free. And some of it you can fall into to be forced to open a wound to be healed. Sometimes those traps, they're not necessarily set by the enemy. Sometimes they're set for you to fall into the embrace of the divine, to be held so that you can heal. And then there are those loyal to you, within you, that see even through all the obstacles that the truth is still there. Regardless of everything that would desire to keep you from reaching that end goal, there is still that truth that you seek, that you know beyond everything to be real. And you have to give yourself credit for that, because the divine does. And that being the divine within you. Excuse my voice. It's clear that this message is powerful. If I'm getting gravelly voice. Sound like a smoker over here. Yeah, smoke. Yeah, and the enemy, those that, it's like there's an energy that kind of gets you feeling in your feels because, I don't know, like, don't leave me, or, I can't believe you would think this of me, or, just trying to guilt trip you. But the emotion is just an act. It's something they're wearing, like a garment, like they're taking a genuine emotion from someone else that is what they desire for you to perceive, and then they wear it and they act out the role, but they're not actually feeling it. And if there's any seed of feeling that is remotely close to it, its motivation is not at all what they're wearing and wants you to believe, like leads you to believe. It's false. So, I don't want you to take what is actually yours from me because I enjoy having the power trip of being able to speak as though I create your world with your energy, and I don't want to lose that power. Boo-hoo. And then they wear the energy of someone who legitimately has been victimized. And they're looking at you like, why are you doing this to me? So you're not perceiving the deeper layer. It's like a Russian doll, right? There's so many layers to everything that you encounter. The very surface layer is usually not. I'm going to give you that. It's usually not the truth. It's usually not honesty. It's usually what they desire you to perceive. Now, I'm going to give you a perfect example because not everybody is this way. And it's not always malicious. Like dumb jokes, for example. I'm someone who finds ironic jokes hilarious, but I also enjoy telling a dumb joke because that joke has many layers, and only someone who understands me and knows me will get it. Because I'm not that level of intelligence. I am beyond that level of intelligence. So it's like, so what's the joke under the joke? And then when you find that joke, then there's a joke even further underneath that joke. And it's just a never-ending logic puzzle of really like entertainment, amusement. It's a joke that never ends. It could go anywhere. It's a ha-ha, no matter what level you're at. And it begins with something that's just da-dum-dum-dum. Right? It begins there. So this outer energy that you perceive is not necessarily malicious. And maybe some of us in the collective, we're so used to doing battle that it's all that we see anymore. We don't see the good first. We're so used to everybody backhanding us for believing the best in them, in a spiritual sense, if not directly in our face. Have we become jaded? That is what this reading is about. Have you become jaded? Have you become warped by the battle? And there's a specific assertive energy present that perfectly encapsulates this. If you want to go into like lore, narrative, mythology, archetypes in human history that encapsulate this, and I believe it's Hades, actually. I gotta find his card in here. I did a deep reading on him a while back, so there may be some synchronicities in that for you. But it's really around, I'm the ultimate warrior. All I do is fight. I can't lose. No matter what I do, I end up somehow besting my enemy. And now you want me to be receptive and open and kind and caring and soft? Am I even worthy of this? Is this even something I'm capable of? Can I be soft? Can I be compassionate? Can I be empathetic? Aries, why did I say Hades? Ooh, there is something there that like you feel like you're living in hell because you're always fighting hell. You're always defending heaven and fighting hell. And that doesn't mean that your allies are polar opposites. You have allies in heaven and hell. They all work for the Creator. They all work for the divine. And they're your allies. So whenever your enemies mess with you, but it seems like you've been in battle a lot. You choose to focus on the good, but you choose to focus on the good that's already around, that you can count on, that's consistent, reliable, stable. You're not necessarily open to new. This is where your challenge is right now. How do you not become jaded when you're feeling like you're in battle all the time? How do you move beyond this? How do you find that center point? That reset, just like a scale when you're checking out at the grocery store. Every now and then, it won't weigh your bananas. And it won't let you do anything. You just hit that arrow, point at 0. Reset the scale. If you know that you're a bit jaded right now, it's worthwhile resetting that scale that you measure everything by. And you do that by going within yourself, very like Libra scale justice energy. What measure were you weighing this by a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? The beginning of your journey versus now. And how far off have you become in the opposite direction? How far have you traveled? If this is a bell curve, right? Are you way up here, assuming the best? Way down here, assuming the worst? Are you somewhere in the middle? Because if you find yourself at either extreme, it's worthwhile opening to the concept that maybe your assumptions have become a little biased. Because if you're a spiritual warrior like this, and you're constantly in battle, you're not seeing your worth on the opposite end of the spectrum if you're pretty much judging only on this one. So this is about you. It's not about other energies. They have warped through this constant bombardment of you, your perception of how you must relate to reality. And they're tired and they're worn out and they have put all of themselves into this final test, which is what happens with inside of you, your battle with yourself. Are you going to consciously choose to come back to center? Or are you going to approach the world like it's always going to attack you? It will always betray you. Because that means there's a hurt on this side that you're not coming back to center. Now, that's not saying that you don't protect yourself. That's not saying that you're not open and aware. That's not saying close your eyes. Keep your eyes open. Pay attention to those red flags. But why is that red flag so prevalent, so frequently being flagged? Are you looking for it, and thus are you creating it? If someone betrayed you, are you going to perceive that possible betrayal in other people that have nothing to do with anything to do with what happened to you before you said, hey, how you doing? And I say, like, see here, it's cool, it's a pretty interesting vibe. And you're already going red flag? Maybe it's possible that they're just as, like, overwhelmed as you. Maybe they don't really know what the things that they say mean. It's possible. Maybe they're looking to you like, what does it mean? Because I don't know. Maybe they've tried to find an answer for it on the internet. They've Googled it. Maybe they look to you as someone who might actually be more in the know than them. And because of that, there's like this assumption that the person, the individual, knows. Like they're orchestrating it. Those red flags. Those red flags. Like, for example, if you play video games, for example, I mean, who doesn't to some extent nowadays? But you can have in mind a certain place, a certain location, somewhere, or depending on how long you've been video gaming, it could be even a game that people typically don't play now. It could be considered legacy. It could be, oh my gosh, like Zelda. And you have this image in your mind that comes to you. And you're like, I don't know what this means, but I know there's a deeper meaning, and I know who I'm guided to share this with. I don't know what it means to them. You go into Google and you're like, okay, well, what could this possibly signify before you communicate it? Because you want to be mindful. You want to be considerate. You want to know if this really is something that you should be sharing with them. Because you would want them to do that due diligence because you respect yourself. And you'd like to think they do themselves too. So, nothing comes up of any apparent significance. So you share it. You're like, I don't know. It means something to you. Cool. Maybe you'll let me know what it means someday. I don't know. But you're not attached to the outcome because you're a channel. You're someone who's empathic and you're caring. And if you get an intuitive nudge from that source of love that is beyond what we can comprehend, who are you to go, no? Like, you want to believe the best in the world. So you keep giving to the possibility that there is the best in this world. So you keep doing that. You keep your hope alive. You keep moving forward. But what you're doing is you're encountering a battle-hardened, PTSD overwhelmed individual possibly who is not going to see it the way that you do. And that's between them and Source. But when they involve you, then they're picking a fight with Source in a whole nother way. Because their own wounds are being used by the enemy to test them and to test you. Now, what can come of this is up to the individuals involved. Their own free will. Are you going to heal? Or are you going to allow yourself to be jaded? It's the exact opposite of seeing the world with rose-colored glasses. It's like a day walker. I don't really know exactly why that came through, but it did. If you are able to see the enemy wherever you go, and you have that ability that the divine gave you to be able to walk in the daylight, yeah, it's not lost on me. We're talking vampire here. I just, okay, Source, okay, divine, I have to trust you. Because I refuse to give up hope, and I refuse to not offer it to those that are seeking it. So what, they're confused. So what, they're overwhelmed. They're still reaching. They're still trying. Having that duality, walking in both worlds, it's a heavy burden. It is. So where is this individual in that battle? Keeping in mind everything that I said, you have allies that are in heaven and hell, and to mess around with you is some ballsy shit. Some ballsy moves. Yeah, yet again, there's a lot of combat happening right now. There's a lot of combat. And for the human being, the consciousness, the inner child, while all of this is happening, knowing that a lot of it's happening within you and over you, it could be very, very overwhelming for those aspects of us. But where do you stand? Do you stand in seeing the world through either extreme, or do you seek the middle? You know, seeing the worst in the world, seeing the best. Rose-colored glasses, daywalker. Are you going to be somewhere in the middle? You're going to be somewhere in the middle. And, what's coming to mind for the daywalker in particular that is being referenced here is the one with Blade where he's taking out the bad ones. Where his whole goal is to take them out. He has to be able to have a like strength in order to meet them at their own level. So he's of both worlds. Your heart kind of has to go out to him a bit. Now, does that mean I agree with everything that's in that movie? Does that mean that every symbolism that's present within that movie is what's being communicated here? No. Just the point of the daywalker being given that ability to walk in the day and being of two worlds. And that he is a warrior for good. Are you going to be somewhere in the middle? Because if I recall, in that movie, he wasn't necessarily able to find his center. And it was because he was desiring to protect his heart, because he didn't believe he could be soft or gentle or accepted or loved. So he kept everybody away. But he kept fighting for the good, for the innocence, because he still had an innocent aspect within him where he wouldn't desire to protect it. Basic logic, he's lost sight of that. Okay, now, I don't know why, it's been a while since I've used this deck, but I've been called to use it, so here we are. There's something that is the key. Something that is the key to this, that speaks to some truth, some aspect within that needs a little more light to it. I'm very clearly hearing like you may be so distracted and overwhelmed by what's going on within you that you don't see what's going on in someone else's world, and you're not necessarily giving them the space or the benefit of the doubt because you're so overwhelmed with what's going on within you, which is completely human. You do not need to be so hard on yourself. All right, we have number 17, Minimus. Commune with the source. It is time to go outside, be barefoot. I don't care if there is snow and ice on the ground. Your nervous system will get the shock to wake up. It may be the very thing it needs. You hear and feel the wind as it moves through the trees, and it goes over your skin, and you anchor yourself in this reality, in this now. And then you open to what you feel and what you're experiencing, and allow the divine to meet you where you are. Ooh, that anger you hear in my voice, you know what that is? You know what that is? This is healed anger, is what you hear in my voice right now. This is also the protective anger of a parent who wants nothing more than to sit their stubborn child down and go, you know, I love you, right? You know that, right? What are you doing? Why? I love you. Someone's hurting you. And I can't fix this for you. Why are you letting them hurt you? That's the anger. Now, that's when anger is healthy. And that is what I'm speaking about here. My divine, I don't know about you guys, but I don't create the divine to be an unhealthy, unbalanced, narcissistic, abusive, gaslighting lover. No. The divine is a love beyond all that is. The divine does not seek to harm you and then ask you to forgive, so on and so forth. So if that's the love that you know, boy, are you in for a surprise. But keep in mind, whenever the divine is trying to offer you love, and that's the love script that you have, can you imagine how frustrating that must be? To be written as an abusive every time you want to show support and love and kindness and ease someone's suffering. When that's projected on you over and over and over again, and that's not who you are. It's not what you want. You stubborn child, I love you so much. Why do you do this? There's that protective anger because you're living in your wound and you're creating from your wound. Okay. So you open to a different narrative, a different love, and I just open to maybe it being a different dance. As I said, this protectiveness of the innocent, of that is pure around you, is because you still have an awareness and a connection to that very aspect within yourself. You're not a lost cause. You have a playfulness, a gentleness to you. Stop giving up on yourself and start seeing the basic logic in your own actions. Oh, okay. This just sounds so raw, but sometimes love, it'll tell you the truths that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear. And sometimes those love Moments where that honesty is so blatant, it's meant to shock you into reality. Just like, interesting, there's not ice or snow out where I'm at, but I mentioned the need for the shock to the system to wake you up. Hey, you're here, right now. Stop getting lost in the narrative and the drama llamas in your mind. They're all projections meant to keep you trapped. What is happening around you right now? Become a loving mirror. How do you see them? Do you see them in the worst possible light? Because that's what they're going to see of themselves then. That's what you're showing them. You're writing them that way. That's not fair to them. It's not fair to you. You're cheating yourself out of something that could be so beautiful because you're so scared that maybe they actually are not going to be someone that gives you the love that you're used to receiving. That maybe they really will be the answer to your prayer. Maybe they really will be a wish fulfillment. Yeah, I get it. It's scary. But you know what? I would far rather be on that roller coaster ride than the one that I've been on over and over again and I know I hate. The one I don't want to be on anymore. I'd rather be on the one where maybe it could be freaking awesome. You've prayed for this. Stop painting it in the worst possible light. It's not the truth of the situation. It's your wounding you're seeing. And this translucent love the darkness. The darkness within you. As I said, heaven and hell, they are all created by the divine, and they work for the divine. You have allies in both. So allow yourself to know that you are protected by beings that will do the worst to protect you. Allow them to know where the hurt is coming from to help you heal it. If you're having projected thoughts, emotions, psychic attacks, projections, possible narratives that you don't even know are true but involve people that you care deeply for, and really direct which path you choose going forward. Where's the truth in it? Point out the illusion. Bring it to light. Speak it out. Allow them to handle that threatens you, that has access that should not have access. Point out the boogeyman in the room, because they can't see through your eyes. Only you can. You're a unique facet of the divine, and that means they don't get to know your perspective. You have to share it. They don't get to know what you're thinking. They don't get to know what you're feeling from your perspective. It's not saying that sometimes things happen and you know that somehow something knew what you were thinking. That doesn't mean it's godly. That doesn't mean that it's of love. But that being that's not of the divine has no idea how to perceive your perception of that experience. They're completely disconnected from it. It's part of why they're attacking you, because they don't understand you. And they hate you for that. Yeah, I know. This stuff's getting pretty heavy today, guys. I don't like that, but it's what's needed. There are people out there right now that are in a lot of pain. And I feel for them. This collective right now, some of you have been keeping this so close to your chest. And the burden of feeling so alone has been weighing on you. And this right here, right now, is you are heard. You are seen. And your light, it's unacceptable for it to go out. It's unacceptable for it to not be fed. It's unacceptable for them to come any closer to it. So, hear me. Your light matters. The divine hears you. The fact that I'm picking up on this is validation of that. There is so much love in this. The frustration of being a parent who is teaching a child how to ride a bike, for example, or how to drive. Like, you just want to do it for them, but every time they fall, the disappointment and the frustration, and every time they start to feel a little bit stronger, a little more independent, how excited you get for them. Now, in this scenario, we're dealing with inanimate object. I mean, this is a very basic childlike scenario, but you bring it up to what's coming through in this reading. The fierce need to protect and defend and just step in and make it stop for your child. To just make them feel safe. But you cannot fight this battle for them. They're the only one that can learn to ride the bike. You can't learn it for them. And the moment that they don't need the training wheels anymore, that's where this is in a lot of instances for you guys. Are you able to find center? Are you able to come back to the middle? Are you always going to lean to the left or the right? One extreme or the other? To see the worst or see the best? Are you able, when you're catching that you're going a little too far to the left or the right, to recenter yourself? Because that's what this reading is. It's time to recenter. Hit the reset button. Go back to center point. And observe. And learn from what just happened. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to really ride that bike without the training wheels. And have the confidence to do things like go hiking and bring your bike along. To do long distance. To go anywhere in the world you want. And see anything that you desire to see, because you can move yourself of your own free will, knowing that you will always know where your center point is. And anytime you lose that center point, you learn from it. So much passion in this for you guys. The divine loves you so much. And it's hard watching you hurt and not stepping in and just making it stop. But you have to learn this. You have to learn to ride this bike and find center. You have to. It's like to just take over and do it for you would be doing you a disservice. You would be using the crutch from now until forever, until the next time you were to incarnate and have the opportunity. The next time you would have the chance. We have the caribou right now for power animal that came out here. Oh, this is the order they want me to do it in, so cool. Cycle of life, rebirth, and abundance. Yes, until next cycle. Yep. So this is your chance. Eminem, the song, Eminem, lose yourself in the moment. You only get one shot. Like this is it. Are you going to have the courage to evaluate what center is for you now? And compare it to see how far you have gone from one extreme to the other, and if you're able to have the courage to go back to center point, to rebalance, to go back to a neutral, to not have a biased negative or biased positive perspective on what comes to you. People, individuals, interactions, dreams. Are you able to find that center point? We have the tiger. Primal power, creation, sexuality, and perception. You create the lens through which you view the world. You do. Do you choose to embrace your instincts? Do you choose to embrace the power that exists within you? And it is not lost on me that this coat is a mixture of light and dark. Your primal instinct is to find balance. In nature, cats, what they do, they hunt, they eat, they groom, they sleep. They hunt, they eat, they groom, they sleep. That is their happy place. The world is right when they do these things. So, what is the routine that you need to help you find center? Something that you do that keeps you honest with yourself every day. Am I center? And if it's not every day, then that's something that's on the to-do list this week. This week is busy. Life is overwhelming and it's chaotic. How do I find my center? It's got to be on here somewhere this week. And definite like cat energy. Oh my goodness. Puma. Power, desire, and healing. And what really popped to me here was this hawk and this raven and this owl. Seeing everything from a bigger picture. Like, observe yourself. It's not saying you don't connect to the emotion. It's not saying you're like, I'm going to judge myself harshly or be critical or anything. It's just what was happening here. How did I move? How did I feel? How did it adjust how I view and move forward? Because I'm telling you, they have thrown everything into this last bombardment. Everything with a desire for your balance to be lost, for you to become so biased that you refuse to come back to center. Now, the Russian doll scenario doesn't just apply to jokes, and it doesn't just apply to the depth of you and what you see. It also applies to that they don't understand within you. People that choose to put their most innocent, positive foot forward and see the best in everyone, they may be perceived by these individuals as weak and easy prey. But what they don't understand is the monster that sleeps within them. And if you push them beyond that point, and I say monster because at that point, there is no reason to hold back because they pushed way beyond where they should have. The question is that monster going to be controlled, discerning in where it directs what justice it seeks, or is it going to be just raging, completely out of control? That is where that balance is. That's where it's necessary. Because when you engage that very powerful warrior aspect in you, that no matter come hell or high water, you're going to win, period. There's no way. There's no way. You always win. When they engage this aspect of you because they push too hard, is this aspect of you going to be bringing justice indiscriminately? Or are you going to be a surgical knife, cutting only what needs to be cut?